You're listening to Podium Podcast with former England rugby player Tom May and leading performance coach Simon Hartley. From locker room gossip to fascinating high-performance insights, this is the show that invites some of the biggest names in the world of sport to discuss life on and off the field of play. Podium Podcast is brought to you by True Potential. To find out more, visit www.tpllp.com.
So today I've been left on my own. Simon hasn't even bothered to turn up. So it's me chatting to Dion Dublin, a footballing legend, Man United, Coventry, Aston Villa, Norwich, where else are we saying? Cambridge United. They've all been part of Dion's career, and I know he's got an eclectic mix of what he's got going on outside of football right now. Most of you will probably know him for, well, if you like sport, you're going to know him for Match of the Day. If you're watching daytime TV, no doubt you know him as Holmes Under the Hammer. So we'll find out a bit more about that. He's a brilliant bloke, loads to talk about, but he's an incredibly busy man. So let's get cracking. Dion, how's it going?
You know what? I'm all right. For an old man, I'm doing okay, mate. I'm enjoying life.
You don't look old at all. Look, I've got grey hair. You haven't got any hair.
Exactly,
So at least you can't.
What do you want? No hair or grey hair? That's your choice. I'm well, mate. I'm good. I'm enjoying life. Thank you.
Good. And mate, we've got to touch on this fireplace behind you because, I mean, it looks like you're in Hogwarts.
Yeah, well, what I wanted to do, because I know you well, Tom, I wanted to bring you to one of the smaller parts of the house. You know, we're in the snug at the moment. I'm obviously in a hotel, mate, and I've got some work to do later on. So stopping here, quick pit stop, and then off we go to do some more work later. So yeah, all good, man, all good.
And you must be one of the busiest men post-sport ever, are you not?
I am busy, but I'm not a moaner when it comes to being busy. Being busy is good. Managing it can mess your head up a little bit. That's why my wife Cheryl does all that for me. And then she just says, you've got to be there, and I just go for it. So, yeah, not a moaner, Tom. You know me well enough.
She provides you with a structure. You just go after it.
That's all you got to do, mate. That's all you got to do. I did it all my life when I was playing. Point me in the right direction. Go far post, go near post, mark him, do that. Okay, Gaffer, not a problem at all. And I'm still saying Gaffer now to the missus, so.
It's quite interesting. On this podcast a lot, we talk to athletes about some of the things that they miss post-competition. And that structure is one of them. And it's interesting that you Cheryl, to put that structure in place, and then you continue to do what you would have done in sport, which is get your head down, work hard, be where you need to be.
Yeah, and I think a lot of sports people in general will adhere to this. That, you know, we don't really want too many things to think about. You know, we're not the brightest tools in the box. We just want you to tell us what you want us to do within our boundaries, within our umbrella of skill, and we'll crack on with it and we'll do our best for you. Coming out of football now, football especially, along with all other sports, football especially is about, right, you are so regimented, you can do that, you can't do that, you must eat that, you must drink that, don't stand up, sit down, all those kind of things. And we just crack on with it. And that's how I liked it, to be fair.
Did you what were you doing when you were playing football? Were you just playing football? Did you have a thought for life after, or how, you know, what was going through your head?
There wasn't a plan early on in my life. There wasn't a plan to say, right, when I get to 35, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I think as I got older, when I got to 28, actually, when I got to 28 and I was at the peak of my game, got fortunate enough to pick for England and all that kind of stuff. I'm at Coventry at the time. And when you get to 28, 29, 30, you're in the best part of your career. You nick 3 or 4 years of good football and good experiences. And then you start to, when you get to 30, you think, okay, just in case, let me try and figure out what else I can do. Did a lot of interviews after games purposely.
Put yourself
from that time on. Yeah, I started to be captain quite a lot after about 28 years old. You're a bit more senior, and you take charge of the dressing room and you make sure the kids are doing what they've got to do and everybody stays in line. And I was happy to be the spokesperson for the dressing room and take the responsibility. And I think when I started to do it more, Tom, I started to get comfortable with the questions that were asked. And then you start to, I don't know how I did it, but I did it unconsciously, where you start to form a new vocabulary rather than a football vocabulary, and you know when you can use it and when you can't use it. So I think from then on, I started to form that I was going to go into some kind of TV world. What it was, I don't know.
What do you think, when you think back to your football career, what are the days you remember most? Obviously, you spent a lot of time, Coventry, Villa, United, Norwich. Where would you, if you go, Dion Dublin is associated with what club? What would you see?
I would imagine that most footballing people would say, yeah, Dion played for Coventry, Dion played for Villa. And that would possibly be it, really. But I think I started at Norwich and I finished at Norwich. So that will always stick with me. Cambridge United gave me my big break when it comes to professional football in the 4th division I think I was 17, 18 at the time. So I really made a breakthrough there, scored lots of goals. Cambridge was very, very good to me. Very good to me, as were Norwich. And then the rest were sort of in the middle. And I had my great dressing room at Coventry. Villa, I played with Merson, Ginola, Boateng, some great players, world-class players. Brilliant. And so I've got moments at all clubs, Tom. It's amazing. And Man United, playing for Sir Alex Ferguson, sitting up every time he comes into the room like
that. Right. You mentioned his name. Talk to us about him. What is it about him that made him so good from a player's
from a player's point of view, which you will understand, and most people will that are playing a team game, is that he will talk to you straight into your eye, straight into your face. You've been brilliant. You've been rubbish. Just straight to the point. You're not playing today because last week you were hopeless, Dion. You missed 4 chances. You're on the bench. What can you say? There's no waving, no grey area, and we like that. And the gaff was very, very, very straight with all his players. He knew how to manage, and this is his big skill. His big skill was his man management. Not a great coach, not the best coach. He'll hold his hand up. Brian Kidd used to do all the coaching for him. Jimmy Ryan in the reserves as well. So the gaff would look after you as an individual. Say, right, got to speak to you, Tom. Arm round. He'll say to you, Dion, got to speak to you. Scruff of the neck. So he knows characters, and he would pull you aside. One thing that sticks with me is when I broke my leg at Manchester United. This was I scored on my debut for Man United, and then on my Old Trafford debut, my home game, I broke my leg on my very first game. So I'm in cast from my groin to my toes, and I'm 2 months into pulling my hair out, even though I don't have any, pulling my hair out, and the gaffer says, listen, Dion, if you want to come to any European games with us, I'll just get you on a flight. I'll book you 2 seats. You put your leg up on the seat, and we'll take you with us. We want you with us. And I thought, he didn't have to do that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Didn't have to do that. Bearing in mind, I come from Cambridge United. I'd not come from Real Madrid or Chelsea. I'd come from Cambridge United. But he treated me like an equal. So he always had me. He always had me from that moment on.
We hope you don't mind us interrupting the show with a very short message about our partners at the Podium Podcast, True Potential. True Potential provide wealth management that's simple, effective and unique. Their expert advice, innovative investments, leading technology and dedicated support are all designed to help you do more with your money. Visit www.tpllp.com now to find out more. Capital at risk. True Potential Wealth Management and True Potential Investments are authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. Thanks for listening. Now, let's get you back to this week's show.
It's quite interesting because a lot of people that move from sport into the corporate world or into new roles post sport, they're quite happy to have those direct conversations. I know from my own personal experience, somewhere like the construction industry is very similar to sport because it just says it how it is on the tin. But actually, it's one of those areas that people aren't that comfortable having direct conversations. Yeah. Do you still feel comfortable having conversations that will be I don't know, a bit prickly, a bit uncomfortable for various.
Yeah, and I think it's a great point as well, because I've come across people that I thought would be happy to have a straight conversation, and they just don't want to. They'll bat it off over there. They'll bat it off. I'll call you tomorrow, or can we speak about it later on? And no, I'm happy to have a face-to-face conversation, and I always start off these conversations, and this kind of diffuses everything. I'll say, listen, I'm going to put my business hat on now. Okay, I need to talk business, so I'm going to put my business hat on, and then I can be straight with them, and they understand that it's not Dion, the pal, or it's Dion, the business partner. So they have to have, and that's how I do it. And I sort of switch off from me and go into business, and they go, okay, fair enough. That's how you do business. And I prefer straight conversations, Tom. What's the point? Tiptoeing around.
Oh,
it's just, I know, don't bother. Let's get it done. Let's look eye to eye. Let's get it done. What do you think? No, yes, bam, bam, crack on. Simple as that.
Get it done, have a scoop.
And you know we love a scoop, son. We love a scoop.
Oh, for anyone that's listening, one of the most incredible days of drinking was spent with Dion. Was it just before New Year's Eve one year, wasn't it? Was we went to the Alexandra Palace to watch the darts. Oh wow!
Okay, now let me tell the people. Let me tell the people listening to this. Right? Let me tell the people listening to this. I was in the football world for 22 years. Footballers are a bit in the rugby world's eyes, bit soft and rolling over and all that kind of stuff. So I turn up. There's about 10 of us. Tom's one of them. Paul Schoolthorpe was one of them as well. So we go out. We have a few beers. We are at the bar. We are now waiting for Tom and Scully to turn up, and we're in the bar. Wait, where them two gone? I have no idea where they've gone. You two rolled up. I don't know if you remember this. You two rolled up. Your nose was all over the place. There was a bit of blood rolling down your chin. Scully's hair was all, his toes were ripped. And you walked in like that, arms down. I said, what's up with you two? What's happened? Oh, no, we just had a bit of a play fight. Bit of a thing. And you're rolling on the floor in the street. I'm thinking, what are you doing? Blood everywhere.
When Scully's had a few John Smiths, he gets a bit aggy. It was a good day that. I remember taking you on a bus. You didn't know what hit you.
Yeah, that was too much.
I loved it. So look, business now. What is apart from Homes Under the Hammer, Match of the Day, all those things we see you on? What is your sort of day-to-day life? What is Dion Dublin up to?
Well, apart from the TV world, I have an auction house. I have my own auction house, which is called Lot 9 Auction House. I have an estate agent in Wrexham, which is called Monopoly. So I do like my property. I'm still, trying to increase my portfolio of rental properties as well. Got a couple of business partners that we meet up and have a few beers, a few scoops, should we say, to talk business as well. So I'm a very quiet person when it comes to what I'm doing. When I chat to people like you who I trust, I'll always, open up, which is fine by me. But I get on with my business, Tom, and I don't tell many people what I'm getting on with. And I told him, how come he's got a new pair of trainers? You see, the deal came in. But I'm loving it. I really am enjoying it, pal.
You've got to pay for your trainers now, mate, surely.
Yeah, when you...
Not really. We're getting them for free. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. One of the questions I was going to ask later on, Homes Under the Hammer or Match of the Day? Your choice.
Dear, Homes Under the Hammer or Match of the Day? Depends who you're doing Match of the Day with. And you know what? What people don't know, I'll let people into Match of the Day secret. What people don't know is when Match of the Day is on at normally 10:30, 10 to 11 time, and we do an hour on air, and it's always live, never pre-rect, it's always live. What you have to do when you turn up at Match of the Day, people won't believe. You turn up at midday, and you're there till midnight. It's a long shift. People expect you just to be there for the show, and you turn up and you put your gear on, you chat. Thank you very much, Gary. Cheers. See you later. Now you do a 12-hour shift. You do all the edits. You do all the squiggles on the legs and shaded areas where people should go. And can you move him there? Can you move him there? So it's a very technical show to do, but it's the best show when it comes to football on TV. So it's nice to do, and it's a privilege to do.
Are you sat in a green room watching all of the games at once?
Yeah, we are sat in what we call the Match of the Day production office. There's about 4 screens, depending on how many games are on. and then you'll do the 12:30, which will be Tottenham versus Arsenal. You'll take the first 45 minutes, and you'll go to the edit suite, and I will say to the guy that's editing it for me, I say, can you go to 12 minutes, 36 seconds, and he'll go 41:22. Go to those specific moments, do the lines, do the squiggles, 15 minutes, back for the second half, do it again. And then you do the 3 o'clock, then you do the 4:30, then you do the 8 o'clock, and then you bam. So yeah, it's a technical thing to do. So when you see like Righty and Alan on the TV and they're talking about this, they're talking about that, they've sat down for a long time to get those edits right.
That was the long-winded way of saying home's under the hammer.
Absolutely. Home's under the hammer is 4 or 5 hours. Match of the day is 12. So yes.
But it works nicely with what you're doing, right? If you've got an interest in property, it dovetails quite nicely.
It does. And I started in property by mistake in 1992 when I signed for Man United. I got myself a little place in Cheshire, bought this house in Cheshire, didn't work out at United, had to leave 2.5 years later. Went to Coventry, kept my house in Cheshire because I wasn't quite sure what to do with it. And then I went to Coventry, bought a house in Coventry. And then I moved to Warwickshire. So I've got 2 houses now. They're being rented out. I'm thinking, that's quite a good income, that. And then I just carried on and just kept what I had. And that's how it kind of happened by mistake. So, yeah, I enjoy. I've got a building company as well, Tom, with Scotty. You know Scotty. Building projects is what we do as well. So Scott looks after that for me. So, yeah, we're busy, mate. Really busy.
Good to hear. When you look back at how football was back when you were playing, do you get frustrated with the way it is now? Are there things about today's game that you don't like in comparison to when it was, proper football?
Yes. And the one that springs to mind straight away is rolling about on the floor. That is just so annoying. So annoying. I mean, I'm going to call him out here. At the weekend, Yerry Mina, who plays for Everton, somebody hit his arm like that because he was holding the box as a corner and somebody's holding him, and always happens, and somebody went like that down on the floor. He went down on the floor on his face. I'm thinking, what's happened there?
Oh.
What's happened there? And he's like this. I'm thinking, come on. And it's just embarrassing. The guy's 6'5", 6'6", big old unit, strong lad. And I'd be embarrassed by that. It's just the old school way is don't show you hurt. The new school way is make sure you're hurt. Or should I say make sure that you show that you think you're hurt so you can try and get a free kick. That wasn't our way. Our way was just to crack on with it. I hate that. I hate the play acting. I hate the diving. Now, I know diving's gone on for a long time, but it's a bit more prominent now and it's a bit more regular. I don't like it. And when people dive and there's no touch at all and it's been proven there's no touch, it's cheating. I hate cheats. That kind of strong words, I know, but I hate people that cheat to gain, especially in sport, because people work too hard for rewards in sport, and
you're trying to rob someone of something.
Yeah, I don't like that, Tom. And whenever I go and do talks to kids and stuff, young footballers, I will always leave by saying, listen, it's the work that people don't see that gets rewarded. Your gym work and your sprints and your band work and, all that stuff that gets rewarded. So when somebody cheats you out of that, I don't like it at all. So the diving about, I hate. I really do. Another thing I would like the kids to go back to, when I say kids, I mean the young pros, is I'd like them to have to clean boots again. They don't have to clean boots anymore. That's one of the biggest learning curves in my life, was cleaning shoes. As stupid as that sounds, cleaning boots for somebody, sign of respect.
Now I think I know why you're saying that. Just explain why you think that.
Well, I just think it's good grounding. You get to respect what it means to be a pro. When I was at Norwich City, at 16 years old, we went into the training ground. First teamers were there, pros, and the kids were there. Only 2 dressing rooms. So I'd go to the left because I was one of the kids. I used to clean Brian Gunn's boots, Rob Rosario's boots, and I think it was Robert Fleck's boots back in the day. They'd throw their boots out the dressing room and you just have to get them cleaned, And then you get them cleaned and then you knock on the door. Can I come in, please? Who is it? Dion. What do you want? I've got your boots. Yeah, no problem at all. Coming in, no probs. You go in, boots are cleaned, spotless. They're absolutely delighted. Might give you 5 at Christmas or something like that, which is a lot of money back then. But I think it's just about going into the training ground and going, I want to be in there. I want to be a pro. I want to be a pro. I want someone to clean my boots. I've got to earn the right to get in there. But I have to do this first. I have to sweep the stands. I have to paint the dressing rooms. I have to sweep up. I've got to clean the toilets. Now, I'm not saying that the kids should do that now. I don't agree with having to clean toilets and sweep stands. I don't agree with that. But there are some things from the old school, Tom, which are very valuable. And I think cleaning boots is a very, very valuable thing that they should do.
I think there's something that's crept into sport, all sports by the sounds of it, a level of expectancy that at a young age, whereby, you know, you might have made one or two appearances and suddenly you think everything's going to fall over at your feet. It seems to me that that's crept into it.
Does it happen in rugby, Tom? It does.
Yeah, I dabbled in being an agent when I finished playing. I remember looking after one guy who had played less than 5 games. He had a good half.
As a pro.
The pro in one of the teams I used to play for, and he said, "Do you think Nike will send me boots now?" No, absolutely no chance, bud. So there's a level of understanding, but that expectancy that I'm here, I've just broken in now let's have it. So, well, no, you've done the easy bit. The hard bit is to come and staying there.
Absolutely.
And I think that it's sort of crept into, without sounding like a real old fart, it's crept into a lot of aspects of life. Yeah. And I think what your point about cleaning boots and earning we had to earn the right to sit anywhere near the back of the bus.
Correct.
Anyway, you went 1 or 2 seats too far, you got hammered.
Where do you think you're going? Where do you think you are going?
Yeah.
Yourself sat up there near the staff.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I think that has crept in, unfortunately, which manifests itself in some pretty bad ways. What are the things that the character traits that were Dion Dublin that you've taken from sport that made you as a sports person? What have you taken from your days as a sports person into your new life?
I think the first word that comes to mind, I think, is resilience. Being able to hang in there, stay in there, whether it's a business deal, whether it's waiting for something to happen for you, whether it's keep going to the same person to try and get something over the line, not being willing to just go, all right, no problems, thank you. Not that kind of person. And as a finding a way. And as a pro, people from the outside world will have a what's the word? They'll have an assessment of your character from the way that you are when you go over the white line, because they don't know you as a person. So Dion Dublin, who goes over the white line, is this very straight, honest, I don't know, okay footballer that did all right for himself, but would always give you everything, and you can trust him on the pitch. That I kind of took into my life as well, to make sure that people don't see a different Dion. I'm just the same person I was when I went over the white line, and I'll always be that way, straight, honest, upfront, and just crack on with life. And I love helping people, Tom. Love helping people, whether it's to open the door, whether it's to try and get a foot on the ladder. Somebody wants to do some media work, I'll try and put a word in for them, because there's enough to go around, pal. There's enough to go around in everything. There's enough to go around.
Yeah. Those opportunities,
yeah, there's opportunities. And I think if you're in a position where you are in that position of strength where you can go, I'll tell you what, Dave, give Tom a shout. Just let him in. It takes no time at all, And it's a nice thing to do as well, Tom, It's a nice thing to do.
Is there anything you would have done differently if you had time again?
I don't think there's anything that I would have done differently as in my career. The only thing I would have... There's two things. There's two things in my career that I wish I'd have had a chance to do more, which was play for Manchester United. Scoring on my debut for Manchester United, first game away at Southampton, and then 2 games later breaking my leg. It was devastating. I thought that was it. My career was done. I was out for like 7-8 months then, because it was the physio, the levels of physio and operations weren't as high tech as they are now, so I was out for a very long time. And the other one was I would have loved to have had a longer England career as well, which would have been good. I mean, I got 4 caps for my country, which I'll take all day long. But you know, I honestly believe that if I hadn't broken my leg at Manchester United, I'd have had more England caps. You know.
Were you involved with the squad for longer than your 4 caps?
Yeah.
Per se,
Yeah.
right? So
yeah.
So very similarly to me, I was involved for a long time, but only got a couple of caps.
Yeah.
And I found that it's so difficult to deal with.
It is because you've had you've had a good camp as well, and you've trained well, and your attitude's been spot on, and you've done everything you can ask, and you can't do any more. No. And you think, well, surely they get to see that. Surely they get to see my attitude, and I've done well. But I do believe that at the time I was trying to be centre forward for England, there was Ian Wright, Les Ferdinand, Shearer, Sheringham, Fowler, Owen. Letitia was playing up front. Scholes was a forward back in the day. So, it's like, okay, I understand. No problem at all. Glenn Hoddle said to me, when I played once for Glenn Hoddle against Belgium or Morocco, I don't know who it was, in a competition, and I played centre-half for England. And he said, Dion, if you were a centre-half, you'd have had 50, 60 caps for England. No problem at all. It's just because of the time I was playing, there was as good as or better centre-forwards than me. And I think it's the strongest centre-forward lineup that England's ever had back then.
I had...
who did you have?
Mike Tyndall, Mike Catt,
Is that 13?
13 and 12. So but I was a 12 back then. But interestingly, one of my mates said to me, and it's stuck in my mind since, you can be doing as well as you feel you could do. It's one person's opinion.
Yeah, that is it.
And that one, if you try and change, I actually tried to change the way I played to fit how I thought Clive Woodward wanted people to play. I was crap.
That's what you can't do.
No, just do what you do and do it really well. And there's a reason why you got to that point. Then you need an element of luck to actually convert that into the next stage.
And listen, Tom, I've been watching rugby for years. You know I'm good friends with Dawson as well, Matt Dawson. So I've been watching rugby for years. I've been watching since I was at Coventry, which is 94, 95. So watched Dawson at the Saints and everything. And I played in... Tom, did you play in Rugby Aid? Okay,
yeah.
So of course you were my kicking coach, weren't you? Of course you were. My kicking coach.
I spent hours coaching you.
You were my kicking coach, of course you were. But before the day before that game, I was sat, because it was England versus the rest of the world, and AJ Venter and Brad Thorne, I think, were there, and Serge Betson, they were all there. And I was with you guys and Ian Bolshaw and Billy Wiz and all the boys. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience, I've got to say, and I talk about this a lot. And I was sat with before the game the night before with Saki, Chariots, one other. We sat there and I said, "Listen, what do I expect, lads, tomorrow? What do I expect?" He said, "Dion, listen, 2 things to remember. You have to keep hold of the pill all the time. Do not drop the pill in contact, and avoid Serge Betson." That's exactly what they said to me. And I go, why? I said, "Dion, just avoid Serge Betson. Trust me. So anyway, before the game kicks off, I've got the 13 shirt on, right? And I watched so much rugby, Tom, but there was an element of fear just as before the ball was kicked. A little bit of fear. My shirt, I got my English shirt, and I'm feeling for dogs, mate. I swear to God, I'm thinking, brilliant. The Stoop's got like 12,000 at the Stoop. I'm thinking, I'm all right here. And before they kicked, I actually leant over to, I think it was to Scully, because Scully was playing. I said, Scully, what do I do? Because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know that you mirrored and made sure there was no gaps. And I didn't know that. I've watched it for years, but I didn't know what to do. And when you're there and you look in front of you, you go, fuck. I didn't know what to do. And the ball came to me about 2 or 3 minutes later. I'm sprinting, just running a straight line. Don't do anything fancy. Hold on to the pill. Who's there? Serge Betson is there. And I'm thinking, I've got to do it. I've got to run. I've got to do it. I've got to try and, I don't know, break the line, whatever you want to call it. And I ran. And it was, I swear to God, mate, it was like hitting a brick wall. The guy did not move. Charity match or no charity match, stopped me and I just went bam. And then as I went on the floor, his hand and elbow and everything was just on my foot. I couldn't do anything.
It's one of those ones where they always start out in inverted commas sort of friendly. And then someone just gets twatted and it's all up. Do you remember the conversation between Jamie Lang and Brad Thorne?
Yes.
Jamie Lang, who I think had been in the England under-16 squad when he was at school for a bit. And Brad Thorne, who'd basically played for rugby league for 58 years. He played for Australia and New Zealand, and he was an absolute legend. And he'd basically had enough of him, hadn't he? And he put him in hospital. He actually put him in hospital for like...
Broke a couple of ribs.
I mean...
Because to be fair, Jamie Lang, and when I see him, I always see you gobby little bastard. That's why you got your ribs fucking snapped. Because I remember you were putting bombs up for him. You got the ball in your hand, you put loads of bombs coming up the snow down, and he's like this, and he's watching it come down. He's bam, come on, test me, and you're putting a bit of spiral on it and all sorts, and he's gone bam, test me, and that exactly happened in the game. What he didn't get in training was somebody running at him like a train. Got it, and
he'd been egging on all week.
Yeah. Come on, bring it on. And he caught one, didn't he? And then he went in, and Brad, I remember Brad saying, I just seen a different coloured shirt. It wasn't the same shirt as mine, and I had to take it that way. He just nudged him with his shoulder, didn't he? And he bust about 3 ribs.
Oh, he absolutely murdered him.
He was quiet after that, James.
Hey, he wasn't anywhere near the pitch. That's why. Yeah, listen, we always end the podcast with the same 4 questions. I was going to add in the 5th, but we've already had that about Homes Under the Hammer. If you hadn't been an athlete, what would you have been? What vocation had taken your interest?
Well, I'm going to have to stay with the athlete thing because at the age of 16, I was asked to go and sign for Norwich on pro forms or sign for Leicester City on basketball forms. Yeah, so I could have started out as a basketball player at 16. I think it was Leicester Riders back then or something like that. And and I played basketball a lot. I worked in a leisure centre and played a lot of basketball. So, yeah, I think basketball hopefully may have taken me that way. But anything in sport.
You still muck about with basketball?
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. I really do.
I'll bet you got one of those old school pairs of Jordans.
Yes, I have actually, yes. Brilliant should say that. I actually met him. I actually met Michael Jordan in 1998. In Nike Town, when Nike Town first opened.
Oh, you were having a clear out, weren't you? Nike got Dion in. Come in for your little...
Got the trolley out, get round the store.
Yeah, just take it off the shelf.
And I met him there because Righty was top man at Nike, and I was in and around it then, getting sponsored by Nike and stuff. And Michael Jordan was there. It was incredible. So I got to meet him. To my hero.
Wow. Have you seen that shot that's appeared a couple of times on social media recently out of nowhere where he's doing that iconic slam dunk? Like the height he's at.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, what's the documentary? The Last Dance, I think it's called. With he's But I watched that the first time round in 1986. I'd seen all that footage back in 1986. I'd seen it all. I'd seen all the dunk competitions with Dominic Wilkins and all that stuff. Dominic Hawkins, sorry. Incredible. Brilliant guy.
Unbelievable. Oh, wow. I didn't realise you'd been a basketball.
Yeah.
There you go. Who's the person you most admire in sport and then one in business?
Okay. Having met Michael Jordan, he's the one I most admire in sport generally because of what he's done and what he's achieved. My footballing hero, God rest his soul, was Cyril Regis. And I always wanted to be like Cyril Regis, strong, hold the ball up, uncomplicated centre forward. So I used to watch Cyril Regis a lot. Footballing terms, Cyril Regis. Sporting terms, it will have to be Michael Jordan. And in life itself, it would be Mr. Mandela because I got to meet him in 1992 as well. So, yeah.
Where was that?
In South Africa. Apartheid was in and separate. Everything was separate. Black supermarkets, white supermarkets. Myself and Paul Parker a right back at United. So Alex, or should I say all the people there that are in charge of the tour, said, Dion, I need you and Paul to go and open a supermarket for me. 2:00 tomorrow. Yeah, no problem at all. That's cool, no problem. So we go, and there's 6,000 black people there. Just no white people at all. But there's white police. And then the following day, we go shopping. Like we go with Tom, there was a very famous South African boxer that was looking after us at the time. I think he was world champ at the time. And he took us around this white supermarket. Everybody, all the players, Gary Palace, De Bruce, myself, Parker, Ince, everybody was there. And we are walking around this white supermarket, whites only, white police everywhere. All the cleaning staff were black. You know what I mean? So there was a mix, but it was only a mix of what they wanted to happen and how they wanted to control it. So it's a very, very odd situation. But Mr. Mandela, what a man. And I got to shake his hand. So,
wow.
Amazing.
I think I know the answer to this one. You've got a load of funds to invest. What are you going to invest in?
Away from property.
Oh, no, I thought you were going to go property.
I would always invest in bricks and mortar, always, without a doubt. Invest in property. I'm not massive on. I'm not a fancy car man. Not a fancy watches man either. To be honest with you, I like my footwear. I do like my footwear. Sometimes you get it free.
You can't even see your feet when you're on Match of the Day. What are they giving him free for?
Never mind. I'll go to save complication. I'm going to go. I would definitely buy property with my money if I had to invest.
Okay. And you got one film that you can watch for the rest of your life. What's it going to be?
Okay. So this is a simple one, but there's two, unfortunately. First choice would be Shawshank Redemption, or the Usual Suspects. Two good films, two amazing plots, and I loved them. Brilliant back then. They're older, aren't they? Now, a bit like me.
You start banging. Oh, watch that film. I watched Goldfinger. What?
Gold what?
Gold what? One yesterday. My daughter looked at it. She was like, "Daddy, this looks funny. This film."
Exactly. Yeah.
As out of there, mental. Hey, look, it's been great to catch up with you. We'll have to sort out another trip to the darts,
always,
mate.
Always. Listen, you know where I am if you need me, mate. And thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been brilliant.
Cheers,
thanks, Dion.
You're listening to Podium Podcast with former England rugby player Tom May and leading performance coach Simon Hartley. From locker room gossip to fascinating high-performance insights, this is the show that invites some of the biggest names in the world of sport to discuss life on and off the field of play. Podium Podcast is brought to you by True Potential. To find out more, visit www.tpllp.com.